Can I figure out what's really going on with Canada's foreclosure crisis? Canada's foreclosure crisis is a significant issue right now, with many homeowners struggling to keep up with their mortgage payments. In this video, we'll take a closer look at what's happening, why it's happening, and what it might mean for the Canadian housing market. We'll explore the main reasons behind the rise in foreclosures, discuss specific examples and regions most affected, and examine the potential long-term implications. High interest rates have played a major role in the rise of foreclosures in Canada. When interest rates are high, it becomes more expensive for people to borrow money to buy or refinance a home. This can lead to a situation where homeowners are struggling to make their mortgage payments, especially if they're on a variable rate mortgage. Inflation has also contributed to the crisis, as it erodes the purchasing power of people's incomes, making it even harder for them to afford their mortgage payments. Unsustainable debt levels have also been a factor. Many Canadians have taken on too much debt, whether it's through credit cards, lines of credit, or other loans. When interest rates rise, it can become difficult for them to keep up with their debt payments, let alone their mortgage payments. This can lead to a situation where they're forced to default on their mortgage, leading to foreclosure. The situation is further complicated by the fact that many homeowners have been using their homes as a source of financing, taking out home equity loans or lines of credit to fund other expenses. This can create a vicious cycle, where homeowners are struggling to make their mortgage payments and are also accumulating more debt. In some regions of Canada, such as Ontario and British Columbia, the housing market has been particularly hot, with prices rising rapidly in recent years. However, this has also led to a situation where many homeowners are struggling to afford their mortgages, especially if they're on a variable rate mortgage. The impact of foreclosures on homeowners can be devastating. Not only do they risk losing their home, but they also face significant financial consequences, including damage to their credit score and the potential for debt collectors to come after them. The economy is also affected, as foreclosures can lead to a surplus of homes on the market, driving down housing prices and contributing to economic instability. This can have a ripple effect, impacting not just homeowners but also businesses and communities. One example of the severity of the situation is the story of a homeowner who's been struggling to make their mortgage payments. Despite trying to cut back on expenses and find ways to increase their income, they're facing the very real possibility of losing their home. Their story is not unique, and it's a stark reminder of the human cost of the foreclosure crisis. Looking ahead, economic projections suggest that the foreclosure crisis is unlikely to resolve itself anytime soon. In fact, some experts predict that we'll see even more foreclosures in the coming months and years, as homeowners continue to struggle with high interest rates and unsustainable debt levels. The severity and urgency of the situation cannot be overstated. The foreclosure crisis has the potential to have a lasting impact on the Canadian housing market, and it's essential that we take a closer look at what's happening and what we can do to mitigate its effects. In summary, Canada's foreclosure crisis is a complex issue with far-reaching implications. It's essential that we understand the main reasons behind the rise in foreclosures, including high interest rates, inflation, and unsustainable debt levels. If you've been affected by the foreclosure crisis or have thoughts on what might be done to address it, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more economic updates, and if you're interested in learning more about the Canadian housing market, be sure to check out my video on the topic.